Welcome back to another video, guys, and in this video I'm going to explain to you guys why I as a landlord don't actually increase my rents. And this is a really important video for everyone to watch who's wanting to be an investor, who's an aspiring investor, or who's already a landlord. And you need to watch it right through till the end of the video to completely understand what I am talking about. Now, I'm going to bring you guys to this very simple sheet right here. Now, say for example, this property in Dubbo, if you purchased it, say it's $760, or for this example's sake, I'm going to say it's $650,000. Now, when you look at this asset, if you're buying on a 20% deposit with around a 4.5% yield, so that's $550 in rent, you're getting around negative $11,000 per year, which is not a cheap amount of money. It is a decent chunk of change, and especially if you're buying post budget, you don't get any negative gearing benefits, so you have to take that full brunt of the cost in your hip pocket. Now, but does that mean you should actually be increasing the rents every single year when you get the chance to? Now, most business owners, most investors, and most landlords are going to say yes, they want to nickel and dime every single tenant where possible. But I have a different view. For multiple of my properties over the past 2 years, I actually haven't increased the rent, and hence those properties are actually under market value. And there are very simple reasons why. And I'm going to point us to this page right here. Now, this is a very simple rental increase calculator sheet that I put together for this video, but it's going to serve the purpose of my reasoning behind it. Now, the first reason that I want people to understand is why I don't increase rents is simply because it is hard to find good tenants. I would much rather have a good tenant in my property, someone who takes care of the property, someone that actually pays on time, doesn't cause issues to the neighbors, doesn't cause issues with the property manager, allows rental inspections to happen on every 6 months on a good basis, is communicative, pays on time, doesn't cause issues. Those tenants are actually harder to find than you might believe. And when you have 2, 3, 5, 6 properties, having peace of mind that you have a good tenant in your property taking care of the property is much better than having to increase rents and pushing the tenant out and getting a bad tenant instead. And the way you push tenants out is by increasing rents to an unaffordable amount. And so when you look at this simple calculator over here, let's say for example point, the original rent is $500. So that's an annual rent of 26 grand. And say we want to increase the rent by $10 to $510. That's about $26,000, 520, and a difference of $520 per year. Now, I want to ask yourself, as an investor, you should be looking at yourself and being like, if I got an extra $520 per year, will this affect my life? And I think for most investors, the answer is no. If the answer is yes to you guys as an investor, then you have a lot more questions to ask about your financial management, your cash flow management, rather than $520. $520, guys, is not life-changing. You can have a side hustle. You can save extra money, have a bigger buffer, have an emergency fund that covers at $520. That's a 2% increase to the original rent. Now, I want to play this conversation in your heads. Say to your property manager, you're going to say, oh, I'm going to increase the rent by $10. And then that property manager has to feed that back to the tenant and say, I'm going to rent the increase by $10. Instead, why don't you tell the property manager, hey, I'm not going to increase your rent by $10, even though the properties around me are $20, $30 more expensive. I'd rather have you as a tenant in my property because you're a good tenant and you take care of the property, and I want you to stay. You are now building a better relationship between tenant, landlord, and property manager than increasing the rent for $10 for the sake of it, because $520 isn't going to affect your life. Now let's look at the next one and say we had to increase the rent by $30 to bring it up to market rent. That's actually a decent material difference of $1,500. Now, once again, this isn't a big amount. When you really think about in the grand scheme of things, $1,560 per year isn't a big amount. It's a 6% increase. And to be honest, a 6% increase to a person who's renting, like an average renter, that's a fair chunk of change. But for an investor, for a landlord, once again, this should be your cash flow management. You should be putting money aside. You should have an emergency fund. You are not bleeding that much cash where you need to force a $30 rent increase on a tenant. Now, here's the other point that I want to make. So say you increase your rent by $10 or $30. Now, you have to be very careful when you increase rents, because if it's at market rate or over market rate, your tenant may actually leave your property in search of a better one. And there is a reason why. One, they could be pissed off that their rent is increasing when it should be staying the same or roughly the same. or there's better quality stock out there that the tenant can move into. But for you as a landlord, when a tenant moves, it could take up to 2 to 4 weeks to find a new tenant to fill your property. Now, say for example, your tenant moves out because you increase the rent by $10. For the tenant, that's a difference of $520. But for you as a landlord, if your property sits vacant for 4 weeks, that means you could lose $2,000. Now, in the chase of $10 per week, you're ready to lose $2,000. Doesn't make much sense, guys. And that's assuming your property sits vacant for 4 weeks. If it sits vacant for 1 week, then you're not so bad off. You will break even. But anything more than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, that could be a big vacancy. And this is really important to understand, because when you look at postcodes of like Craigieburn, for example, 3064, you can see the vacancy rate is 3%. That means there's a lot of rental properties available. And you can see this right here. When you look at the Craigieburn map, and I'm just looking at houses only, there's 200 houses available for rent in Craigieburn. People have options. Now, in that same token, if you look at Bundaberg, the vacancy rate is 1%. It's a very tight rental market. And when you look at the rental properties available, there's only 65 properties available to rent. And so the tenant actually has a lot less options. So if you were to increase by $10, it's pretty unlikely they will move out. If you increase it by $30, they will still be pretty unlikely to move out. But if you increase your rent by $30 in Craigieburn, the tenant has a lot of other options to consider. They're likely to move out. You're going to have a vacant property for a lot longer than you would expect. And so this is a concept that's really important to understand. When you increase your rent by these small amounts that are jarring, but enough to make the tenant consider, maybe I should find a better property out there. And you really have to work with your property manager. You have to look at the vacancy rate. You have to look at the amount of rental stock available. Treat it like an actual business. If I increase the cost of my product, will the customer go to another person's product? It's as simple as that. If Woolworths and Coles have the same product, but Woolworths sells it for cheaper, the customer is likely to go to that person. Now, of course, I'm not factoring the tenant's moving out cost and the pain of moving out, etc., etc. But you still need to factor in the fact that if you increase your rents, if you increase the cost of your product, the customer may no longer choose you. That's a fact, right? It's simple supply and demand. Now, say for example, you've been renting for $500, but all your other properties in the area are around $600. Increasing your rent to $590 to $580 is like an 18% increase. That's a material difference to you. It's almost $5K. I can completely understand if you're trying to jack up your rents because of that. That's fine. So when you as a landlord look at your property and it's renting for $500 and it's coming up your 12-month lease renewal, and you have an option to increase it to $510 to try get it up to market rent, you need to ask yourself, is it really worth losing a good tenant over $10, $20, etc.? Because I much rather have a good tenant who takes care of my property, pays on time, who doesn't cause me a headache, who doesn't want to leave, is a good family, works a good job, takes care of themselves, takes care of the property. I'm not going to increase the rent for them, because to me, it doesn't make a material difference. Now, if in situation the tenant moves out because they're just moving on with their life, they're trying to find another location to live in, etc., that's when I will really jack up the rents up to market rent, right? And that's a big difference, because now I don't have a relationship with that tenant. I'm going to increase the rent to the maximum amount I can and then start again fresh, right? Another tactic I use as well, guys, if for example I do want to increase the rents, but I don't want to really screw over the tenant, what I do, say for example the new rental return, the property manager is telling me, oh, all the rents in the area, you can get $530, maybe even $540. What I will do instead of raising from $500 to $530 to $540, I increase it to $510, $515, $520 at a maximum. I'm always about around 2 to 3%, maybe around 5% below the market rent of the area. And the reason again is I just want to help the tenant. I would rather have a good tenant, pays on time, doesn't have any arrears, is a good tenant, takes care of the property, than increasing it up to market rent and having the tenant question in their mind, should I go somewhere else? And I do believe this is how all investors think. And I'm not trying to act like a saint or anything like that, guys. I'm doing a simple business deal. Even with my community membership, guys, right? I have over 250 members in the community. Now, for those of you who've been watching my channel, I started from literally $9.99 for my community all the way up to $40 a month. Now, it's $40 a month because there's a lot more value now. There's a lot more resources. There's a lot more communication, deal reviews, community calls, etc. And there's a lot more members, so I pay more attention to each one, and hence my prices have increased. But there are members within my community at this point in time who are on $9.99 a month. I'm not joking. I haven't increased a single price. There are people on $19.99 a month. There's people on $25 a month in my community, and I will never increase the price on them because they showed me loyalty. They stay within the community, and I want them to stay, and I want them to continue to work with me to build their portfolios out, guys. And in the same way, I want you to understand that's how you should approach your rental increases. That's how you should approach rental amounts for your investment properties. And if you need help choosing the right property, if you need help, discussions about rental increases, about vacancy rates, about your location, and you need my help, jump in the private community. We have an entire section dedicated to property management, to rental increases, etc. We help out investors on a daily basis. And if you need private mentorship and guidance, jump in the private community, guys, today. Till next time, thank you very much.